What's going on, everyone? Today, we're going to talk about Zach Kreger's comments on his upcoming Resident Evil film and why the Resident Evil fandom is going crazy on the internet over his changes. So, Zach Kreger says that he has seen all the comments about the snow and the iPhones in his movie, and he said he's got a good reason for why he took liberties with the lore. Now, I can understand why saying something like that makes people a bit nervous. You're taking liberties with a franchise that they love. We've seen Hollywood take things that we enjoy over and over again and just completely messing it up. Based on the trailer, I do get Resident Evil vibes from this movie. I see where he's coming from. So here is Zach Kreger's response to basically everybody that wants to see Leon or some original characters from the game be adapted in this movie.
What do you want fans of the games to know?
Okay, I want fans of the games to just know that I am a giant fan of the games. I am making this movie to celebrate the games. Okay, I haven't seen the other movies. What I'm not doing in this is I'm not going to cannibalize the characters and the stories that the games already do so well. Okay, because I'm not going to be able to improve on Leon. I feel like Leon exists in the games, and anyone I cast and any haircut I give him or any line of dialogue I make him say, it's just not going to be Leon because Leon exists, you know. And so I feel like what I'd rather do is tell an original story that lives in the world of the games and that obeys, you know, the rules of the games largely, but feels more like the experience you get when you're playing the games. And that is leaning into the survival horror aspect of it. It's not survival action, you know, it's survival horror. And so I really love what the games do so well, where they build this incredible atmosphere and this dread and this tension as you progress through these set pieces, and things just escalate and escalate and escalate, and you always feel like you have not enough resources and you're wounded and the whole world is completely stacked against you. Like that's what makes Resident Evil so enjoyable for me to play. And so that's what this movie is built to do, is to give you that kind of slow dread, tension, escalation that the games have perfected.
Listen, I gotta say, I appreciate that response. I'm a Resident Evil fan, and we've seen so many directors try to remake that Resident Evil magic on screen, and it just did not hit. So I really do appreciate what he's saying here. He's a fan of the games, and instead of giving us, and he's completely correct. If he tries to adapt Leon, like right down to the hairstyle, if it's not up to the standards of some of the mega fans of Resident Evil, they're going to try to rip him to shreds. Like, oh no, this wasn't good enough. Leon wouldn't say this line. Leon wouldn't shoot that way. This, like, I totally get where he's coming from with this. So my thing with this is I want to see the movie before I judge it, because what I see from the trailer, it does feel like a Resident Evil game. But again, I can't say anything because I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm just okay with the trailer. I don't have a problem with it. Yes, the snow, the cell phone, but that's going to get explained. He said it's going to be like a different timeline. So he's trying to get the vibe of Resident Evil, which is totally fine, in my opinion, as a fan of the franchise. He may make a banger of a movie. And if it's following, you know, the rules, like he just said, of Resident Evil, I don't see a problem with it. So here at San Diego Comic-Con, he talks about adopting the visual language of the video games for Resident Evil. Let's see what he's got to say.
Like growing up playing video games like Resident Evil and most other video games, it's just kind of ingrained, and I think a lot of people our age, like, we have a different touchstone for visual communication because of video games, you know, like, so to make a Resident Evil movie is like, obviously I want to be in that third person view a lot, you know. When Austin looks right, our camera operator swings to look right. When Austin looks up, we drop down and we look up. So it had a lot of like working together with the operator, with Austin, to make sure that we were doing everything in real time, so it felt like the camera was being psychically controlled by Austin. And what it does, when I play a video game, I'm sure you guys agree, it's like you feel so locked into the space when you can like explore it that way. You know, I feel like a lot of horror movies, it's like someone's moving down a dark hallway and you just kind of like, you have a shot of their face as they're walking, and maybe you get a POV shot, and it's like, that's great, but it doesn't make me feel like I'm really there. But if I'm agile with the camera and I have a wide lens and I'm like perched right on somebody's shoulder and I'm following their attention, I feel locked in. And the games just do that, so why wouldn't I just take it from the games and just put it in the movie?
Hell yeah. Round of applause for that.
I just think it's right there. It's so good.
Again, I'm not mad at that. He's trying to make this movie feel like you're in the video game. I think that's fantastic. Now, this right here, the caption is Zach Kreger is awesome. He's like, listen, Resident Evil snobs, I love this and I wanted to make it my way, deal with it. Now, he doesn't say that. I actually don't get this from his comment because I'll be honest, from what I've seen, now I haven't seen every single clip that's been floating around the internet of Zach Kreger. I have not seen him disrespect the fan base at all. At all, which you see that a lot in Hollywood. If you don't like what they put out, it's our fault, the fans. We have to just like what they put out, right? I'm not getting that vibe from Zach Kreger at all. Feel that he's being actually extremely respectful here. So here's another comment that he has on his version of Resident Evil.
This movie doesn't take place in the 90s when Resident Evil 2 came out. And it does take place in the snow. It takes place in the snow in 2026. That's why he has an iPhone. And because I took liberties to tell a story I wanted to tell and make the movie look the way I wanted to make it look. I am not doing exactly a one-for-one Resident Evil 2, adaptation. Like there are differences between this movie and the game. So I just want to acknowledge that. I don't think it makes the movie any worse. I think it looks really fucking cool to have a horror movie set in the snow. It's just I don't see enough of those. I like it a lot. So the snow, it's an aesthetic decision. It's just an aesthetic decision. If the barrier of entry is whether I do a one-for-one port, then I guess then in that regard, I have failed. But I think the movie is stronger for it. Well,
I don't hate that comment from him, and he's not being disrespectful to the fan base at all. I also agree with horror movies looking pretty cool in the snow. I mean, yes. I don't. The one thing that I wouldn't say I disagree with it, but it would have been really cool to see this set in the 90s, right? Like when the outbreak happens in the games. But again, this is something I need to see what he's doing. I got to see what his vision is here, because if I go into the theater on September 18th and see a movie that makes me feel like it's a Resident Evil game, but it's in modern times, I'm okay with that as long as it feels like a Resident Evil movie. So one more little interview clip here that Zach Kreger has done where he passionately explains why he doesn't want to do a direct adaptation of the games. Let's see what he's got to say.
I'm gonna go. I'm not even gonna let you talk. Please do. Shut the fuck up. Guys, I got this from here. Everybody, look at me. Look at me. Camera here, right here. Okay. What it does?
It's not 1998. It takes place in modern times. I know that during the events of Resident Evil 2, it's not snowing, and yet in this movie, I thought it would be better for the story and for the visual, whatever I'm doing, if it was snowy. I am not trying to adapt a video game. I'm not going to be able to do it better than the games. The games are so well executed. And to me, it's kind of like when you have your favorite book and then you find out someone's turning your favorite book into a movie and then you hear who they cast and you're always like, no, I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to do is make a Resident Evil movie that really is a love letter to the experience of playing a Resident Evil game. It's about one character moving on foot from point A to point B, moving from set piece to set piece, location to location. Every location has its own unique threat. You have to keep in mind resource management. If this movie was a Resident Evil game, like call it Resident Evil 10, it wouldn't feel weird.
I gotta say, I'm actually still very hyped for this movie. I think Zach Kreger is a great director. He does horror in a different way that I can really appreciate. And he also doesn't want you to know what's going to happen, right? Barbarian, weapons. You did not see that ending coming. So that also makes sense with this movie here, Resident Evil, that if he did a direct adaptation of Resident Evil 2, we know how that ends. So he's trying to do something different. We're not following, and I respect that he's not taking a beloved character like Leon or Claire and throwing them in the movie and having us follow them. It's just an everyday guy. I totally get the vision that he's doing here, and I really do think this movie is going to be great. If it's not, I will be 100% honest, and if it's great, I'll also be 100% honest. So I'm excited for this movie. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments. I absolutely understand people being passionate about this. We've seen so many of our franchises, whether it's a book, a video game, get adapted into film, and it's just not good. I don't get that feeling with this. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you agree with any of Zach's comments? Do you think that this movie is just not going to be for you as a Resident Evil fan? And also, if you're interested in seeing cosplays, behind the scenes, having watch parties, game nights, things like that, I have a Patreon, which will be linked below, and I'll also pin it in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. It really helps me out over here. And have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone.